All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful and kind of misunderstood institutions in the entire world, the central bank. It's like the silent guardian of our economy, and today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how it works.
So let's just start with a big question, right? Who has the power to fight off rising prices, inflation, and who can stop the economy from going into a nosedive? The answer? The central bank. But how they pull it off? Well, that's the real story.
I want you to think of the economy as this massive, enormous ship. The central bank, that's the captain. And their job is to navigate through some really treacherous waters, avoiding storms, and just keeping the whole thing on a steady, stable course. And believe me, it is an incredibly delicate balancing act.
Now, you might be thinking the goal is just to make the economy grow as fast as humanly possible, right? Pedal to the metal. But that's not really it. The central bank's actual mission is to smooth out the ride, to avoid those wild, unsustainable booms that, are always followed by these really painful busts. The sweet spot is that stable, predictable growth that keeps people in their jobs.
And this brings us to the two great dangers, the two big monsters the central bank is always trying to avoid. On one side, you have an overheating economy. That leads to high inflation, which just means the money in your pocket buys less and less every single day. On the other side, you've got a stalling economy. That leads to high unemployment because businesses stop spending and people start losing their jobs. Both are really damaging for all of us.
So how does the captain actually steer this giant ship? Well, they have a very specific set of tools they can use, and these tools give them the power to influence the entire economy. So let's take a look inside that toolkit.
Okay, there are three main instruments in here. Open market operations. Sounds super fancy, but it's really just the bank buying and selling government bonds to tweak the amount of money in the system. Then you have reserve requirements. That's just telling banks how much cash they need to keep on hand. But the big one, the one you always hear about on the news, is the official policy rate. That's the key interest rate that ends up affecting everything from your mortgage to your car loan.
And what's the target they're usually aiming for with all these tools? 2%. For most big, developed economies, 2% annual inflation is the Goldilocks number. It's not too hot, not too cold. It keeps things moving forward without prices spiraling out of control. And it gives a really important buffer against the opposite problem, deflation, which is when prices actually start falling and people just stop spending altogether.
But here's the thing, and this is probably the most crucial point of our entire explainer today. Having the tools is one thing, but using them effectively, that requires a guiding philosophy. There are three core principles, three pillars, that really decide whether a central bank is going to succeed or fail.
It's really not just about what the central bank does, but how it does it. These three qualities are the foundation for all effective monetary policy. You could even call them the secret ingredients to keeping an economy stable. Let's break them down.
The first pillar is independence. This is a big one. It means the central bank has to be protected from all the day-to-day political chaos. I mean, think about it. A politician who's up for re-election might be really tempted to push for lower interest rates to create a quick, short-term economic boom, even if that leads to terrible inflation later on. Independence is the firewall that prevents that.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. By putting these huge decisions in the hands of an organization that isn't worried about the next election, you got policy that's made for the long-term health of the economy, not for short-term political points.
Okay, next up, we have credibility. And this is all about trust. It's the belief that when the central bank says, we're going to keep inflation at 2%, that they actually mean it, and that they have the guts to do what it takes. This trust, it is incredibly powerful.
Because when people and businesses believe inflation is going to stay low, they act that way. They don't demand huge wage increases or jack up prices just in case. It's a concept called anchoring inflation expectations, and a credible central bank can practically do it with its words alone. It's like a superpower that makes their job infinitely easier.
And the final pillar, the one that really ties it all together, is transparency. You see, an independent and credible central bank can't just be some secret club making decisions behind closed doors. It has to explain what it's doing, why it's doing it, and what it thinks is going to happen next.
This is how it all connects. Being transparent is how you build and maintain that credibility we were just talking about. By publishing detailed reports and holding press conferences, central bankers are taking the mystery out of what they do. This kind of open communication makes their decisions more predictable and helps everybody from big businesses to you understand the road ahead. It just reduces uncertainty for everyone.
Okay, so we've thrown around these big words.
Independence, credibility, transparency. But why should you actually care about any of this? Well, because these high-level concepts have a direct, real impact on your daily life, on your pocket.
Look, when a central bank does its job well, guided by these 3 pillars, this is what it means for you. The price of groceries and gas isn't swinging around like crazy. You can actually get a mortgage or a car loan at a rate that's predictable. Businesses feel confident enough to hire people, which means a healthier job market. And maybe most importantly, we slash the risk of those catastrophic financial crises. It is the bedrock of a stable economic life.
So those 3 pillars, independence, credibility, and transparency, they are the absolute bedrock of modern effective central banking. But let me just leave you with this final thought to chew on. In our deeply connected world, a world that's constantly being hit by global shocks from pandemics to wars, are these principles still enough to navigate the storms that are definitely ahead? That is the billion-dollar question that central bankers everywhere are grappling with right now. Thanks for watching.